What's your funniest sex story? Best of Reddit. Daily new uploads. Subscribe and like for more. Just do it. It was immediately post-coitus, and she tried to tickle me. We're laughing and playing around and she tries to catch me in the bed. I tried to duck past her arms and I accidentally full on headbutt her right in the crotch. On an unrelated note, I discovered that it's really uncomfortable to be hit there even if you don't have testicles. Luckily, we laughed about it later, and we both got a story out of it. Headshot to the coin slot. Going at it in a hotel room when my girlfriend says she'd like me to finish in her mouth. So whenever I was ready, we'd readjust to make it happen. Normally she's on top for this, but this time I happened to be. So the time came to finish up and I rush up towards her head, completely forgetting that the headboard exists and smash my head straight into it. She immediately looks up at me like, "Oh god, are you okay?" But the hit broke my concentration and I blew my load straight at her face. Of course, she's already distracted enough too, so the surprise facial caused her to jolt her head back and smash her head on the headboard as well. So there we were, naked, concussed and covered in semen in a hotel room, laughing our ass off at the sheer absurdity over how quickly everything went wrong. Enjoying the video? Leave a comment below. 3. Right, you marry that girl OP. Naked, concussed, and covered in semen is a great band name. Sounds like a Cards Against Humanity card. Naked, concussed, and covered in semen. Title of your sex tape. Losing my virginity. Decide it's time. I stepped up and went on top. She rolls over and excitedly and readjusts herself. In the process she headbutts me, and splits my lip open. Did you refuse to split her lips open after that? Well, I lost some blood flow. Yikes. I posted this on another thread earlier, but if it's here too. I was having sex with my girlfriend, doggy style, and pulled out. There was a plastic ring around my cock. She said it was a birth control thingy. I felt like I had won a carnival game. Gold? No, it was plastic. Weren't you listening? He didn't say what color though. The Nuva ring. The same thing happened to my boyfriend. Happened to me too. Didn't realize it got pulled out until I found it on the bedroom floor hours after the fact. All chewed up by the dog. Expressionless face. I hooked up with this guy who had a micropenis, probably about the size of my index finger, and I have pretty small hands. Honestly, I didn't mind. I really don't care about size as penetration doesn't do much for me and I'm much more of an oral person. But after we got naked, he started dirty talking and referring to his cock as huge. A couple of quotes I remember are you ready to take this big cock and I'm gonna tear that pussy up? I was trying not to giggle the whole time. He had to know, right? It gives us confidence tbh. I'm glad you didn't tell him anything lol, but yeah, he probably knew. Oh, I would never say anything mean. I didn't want to be cruel. The experience honestly would have been fun overall if not for the dirty talk. I just couldn't bring myself to play along and call it big when it was like 2 inches. Better to not have said anything lol, but good job. Or, that's adorable. Sure you will. Not quite to that level, but I had a guy say, "I bet this is the biggest dick you've ever had." It was not. He was only the second guy I'd been with, so I think he made assumptions. But the first one was way bigger. I also tried to not laugh. Having a quickie on the sofa with my BF, I was kneeling, facing the back of the sofa, and my BF was doing me from behind. All was well until he got cramp in his leg and jerked forward, which knocked me off balance. I fell headfirst into the wall and ended up with a dark purple bruise right in the middle of my forehead that was very hard to cover, so I had to tell everyone that I'd walked into a lamppost as it seemed less embarrassing than a sex injury. He was very apologetic and it became a running joke that he'd have to get me a hard hat before he could fuck me from behind again. A few weeks after the injury, we tempted fate by going at it on the sofa again, and I guess we were a bit too vigorous because we broke the sofa. Please buy him a hard hat for Xmas. I lived in this really shitty apartment with paper thin walls with an ex-partner. One evening we had a round of not loud sex but still loud enough. Once finished, I hear a knock at the door and answered to find my new neighbor asking if I wanted to go out for a smoke. I say sure, and my partner takes a shower and heads to bed because she has to get up at 4 AM for work. We have our smokes and she asks if I like to come in for a drink. I agree and we walk into her apartment where she and her partner are having a small housewarming party. She introduces me as the neighbor that everyone just overheard having sex. The whole party erupts in applause. Shouts and high fives. This is how I meet my new neighbors. We finished up one time to walk downstairs to our group of friends offering a hearty round of applause. At that point all you can do is laugh and accept the congratulations. Hey buddy, congrats on the sex. Smiling face with sunglasses. Okay hand. Enjoying the video, leave a comment below. 3. And that sex's name? Albert Einstein. Sounds like great fucking neighbors lol. No, OP was the one fucking. You didn't think it was weird that a neighbor knocked on your door just to ask you if you wanted to join them for a smoke? Both our cats, just watching us. Heads tilted. Been in that situation with a dog. Felt awkward. How long did the cats watch you and your dog? I made my wife homemade burritos with freshly chopped ingredients, including jalapenos, as an anniversary dinner. I washed our dishes, washed my hands, and carried her back to the bedroom passionately. Midway and she makes a strange face and asks gingerly, did you put chili pepper on your dick? The juice from a fresh jalapeno is insidious. Nothing washes that shit off. This happened to hubby and I once. He had put jalapenos in his omelette for breakfast, brushed his teeth, washed his hands. Some hours passed, we had lunch and then later on started to get frisky. A little into it I started to feel a light tingling sensation that quickly turned into really painful burning. I jumped off and started screaming ow, running to the bathroom, put a cold cloth on it and started to cry because I couldn't escape the pain. Face with tears of joy. Definitely a mood killer. Oh yeah it is. The night this happened, she and we were able to Google some home remedies for this problem and rekindle the flames eventually. But in the course of this Googling, we came across some pretty kinky forums where people who are obviously into pain posted about purposely applying chili pepper to their private parts and really enjoying it. We both concluded pretty quickly that neither of us have that fetish, or are even into pain or humiliation at all sexually. To each his own. The juice from a fresh jalapeno is insidious. Nothing washes that shit off. Use disposable gloves, then toss them when done chopping. No need to wash it off when you don't have the oils on you. Once I was hooking up with a guy from Tinder, and between the alcohol, condoms, and nerves from being with a new guy, I needed a little assistance from Mr. Lube. So I reach over, grab the lube, and then my brain goes into autopilot. Did before I know what do. So I put a small amount in the palm of my hand and start rubbing that shit into my hands like lotion. Suddenly I realize what the fuck I'm doing. I stare at my hands, back at this guy, back at my hands, and I start dying laughing. Like tears are steaming down my face laughing. Brain malfunction level 11. He looked horrified. In retrospect he was probably like, where does she plan on putting that hand? I never heard from him again. Too bad he wasn't into fisting. I was having sex. It was his first time, and we were going quite slow. I was on top but taking it pretty easy, when all of a sudden the entire mattress broke through the slats underneath and crashed to the floor. It happened so fast it took a second to realize what even happened, and then we got up and, while still both naked, attempted to fix the bed. Turns out it happened BC when I put together this cheap ass IKEA frame. I put one of the large pegs into a small hole, then realized that it was too big, took it out, and put the correct size one in that stretched the wood enough for the peg to not totally fit anymore, and even the slightest jerking of the frame caused it to come out, which caused the slats to fall and the mattress to just plummet to the floor. We stayed naked BC. We were stoned and didn't think far enough to put clothes on, and when we were done we realized how silly that whole situation looked. I love how more than half of this comment is an explanation about the IKEA furniture. Half sexual, half educational educational. I put one of the large pegs into a small hole, then realized that it was too big, took it out, and put the correct size one. And wait, are we talking about the bed or your partner? Or even the slightest jerking of the frame caused it to come out? Listen, that's totally normal if it was his first time. I had a very kinky FWB over the house one time. We are getting hot and heavy and I throw her on the bed. She's very much into consensual non-consent sex, so I tell her what I'm going to do to her by force. What I meant to say was, yeah, you want me to throw you on the bed and rip your fucking pants off. What I said was, yeah, you want me to throw you on the bed and rip your fucking legs off. We laughed for a good hour. To this day I still say it when she comes over. Edit. Thank you for my very first award. She said she wanted it rough. Damn it, I tried. Will screenshot and send to her. Will update. Okay, this is the only one that has made me actually laugh out loud. I haven't laughed out loud alone in months, almost a year. I finally found the right antidepressants. Thanks for helping me find my laugh again. You want me to throw you on the bed and rip your fucking legs off? Is pretty up there with you like that. You fucking retard. The GF and I are having fun. I'm standing on the floor at the edge of the bed with her hips butt on the edge of the bed. I decide to lean over, put my arms around her waist back and pick her up. All cool until partway through lifting her I lost my balance and we fell together onto the bed. Well, the weight of me landing on her caused her to fart right on my balls. And we laughed and laughed and laughed. Still tease her about it sometimes, lol. You tease her? You're the one who got fart bald. Now I want to change my username to you fart bald. Thanks. I had it all together until you said fart right on my balls. Then I lost it. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. Receiving oral from my girlfriend. My dog, who follows me everywhere, was at the side of the bed. He starts letting out the loudest dog farts I have ever heard, one after another after another. Guess what I think about whenever the opportunity to receive oral comes about? Many years ago I dated this chick which partook in the Britney community. Now she was all in on this, always writing on forums, reading fanfiction, and making her own erotic drawings to then share online. Yes, I was weirded out by this, but we had good chemistry so I overlooked it, especially since the whole Britney thing was fairly popular amongst nerds at the time. One night she wanted to do some role playing and talked me into mimicking the voice and quotes of one of the male characters from the show while doing her from behind. She asked me if I wanted her to play a role as well, but I said that she's hot enough to get my blood boiling on her own, because I'm smooth like that. Self-cringe. Not long into the play, as I'm doing some distracted thrusting trying to think of appropriate one-liners to satisfy this fantasy of hers, she starts doing a voice on her own, mimicking the sister of the character I was playing. This is the moment where reality hit me. I was role-playing incestuous horse sex. This made me just stop right in my track. The shame killing the mood for me completely. Not sure if the story is that funny without the comedic timings of telling it in person, but hopefully I didn't make you people cringe too hard. I'm picturing you like that. Yup. I can hear this interaction and I hate it. It was one of the few times we both came at the same time. Right when we came the walls shook. We both stared at each other wondering if we both experienced that. Turns out it was a small earthquake, but the timing was uncanny. I was having sex alone. Yeah, it's called masturbation, but never mind. While watching some lesbian porn on my TV, I was completely naked and sitting on the edge of the couch when there was a power cut and TV went blank and all I could see myself in the reflection, and that sight was nothing short of a comedy film scene. Mayo, watching yourself jerk off is the best. My GF and I were in her college dorm room doing naked making out things. We were hugging and someone joked squeezing contest and we started trying to see who could hug the other one harder. I accidentally bruised one of her ribs and had to bring her to health services. She had a paper due the next day, so she sat on my lap to write it while I held an ice pack to her side and occasionally played with her breasts until she told me to stop because she had to focus on writing. Low-key romantic. Sex with my then boyfriend. The room was pitch black. We'd just gotten home. I was laying on the bed, on my stomach, pretty close to the edge, waiting for him to hop on in any second. He took off his boxers, and, since he was very close to where I was, he slapped me across the face with his erect dick. He didn't even know it happened. I was so taken aback, I needed a second to compose myself. He has a decently sized dick, so my face actually turned to the side from the impact. A minute later, we decided to spice things up with a bit of lube he had, which was never used. It was part of those gift bags you get with condoms and information on sexual health, etc. So it was all brand new. About a minute after applying that, I start feeling warm, uncomfortably warm. About 10 seconds later, it feels like I'm on fire. I rush to the bathroom. Sex is cancelled. I need to cool my bits off. Turned out that was the lube that doubles as a warming massage gel, and my vagina was a little too sensitive to handle it at the time. We laughed about that, and the dick to face slap for a while. Happy slaps jiving. My wife and I got frisky in the kitchen. She was bent over slightly bracing herself on the counter while I was going to town behind. After we finished, I pulled out and a huge glob of semen and bodily fluids landed directly on her phone screen. She dropped it when we started making out. My dad told me when he lost his virginity he was going to town but felt a burning sensation. Apparently he was fucking the gap between her ass crack and the carpet for a good 5 minutes before she corrected him. Face with tears of joy. Holy fucking shit. He shagged the damn carpet. When me and my GF first started dating, I was living with my dad. We were still in HS. I had a futon. We had just finished and she had been on top. She was getting off. Got to the edge of the futon. And it basically flipped up. She fell. I rolled. And she queefed. She got really red and I asked, "Did you just fart?" She said. I queefed. I started dying of laughter. We both just cracked up. We were on the floor just cracking up together. It was at that moment I realized I loved her so much. If she had gotten upset about me laughing, or hadn't laughed with me, I don't know if we would have worked. The whole thing just opened things up for us. I felt like I didn't have to hide anything like that, and she felt the same way. That was when we were only 3 months into our relationship. Now we are going on 4 years. Sorry for getting a little lovey at the end there. LOL. Not quite sex, but I've had more women hit on me over words with friends, player chat than Tinder. Bro, IDK if that's good or bad. When I lost my virginity to my then girlfriend, right after I slid in, I stopped, looked at her, and said sorry in advance, but this isn't gonna last long. She picked on me about that the whole time we dated. My ex liked it when I talked dirty to her. I was making her orgasm one time and was saying some sweet stuff to her. While she was finishing up and moaning, I was still talking. I didn't realize she was done, and in the middle of moaning she just went K, and I stopped instantly. We just started laughing because it was so sudden. After a particularly enthusiastic session with my ex-GF, I realized it felt like something was weird and wet and sticky. So we turned the lights on and there was blood everywhere here. It looked like a horrific serial killer had visited. I was in a phase where I had frilly all white linens and a duvet cover, too. So you could even see the handprints where she had grabbed at the edge of the bed. Always nice to know you did a good job. Turned out she had a nosebleed at some point and neither of us noticed. Better than the alternative, I suppose. The first time I sucked a dick, I shocked it with my tongue. I have never seen a penis go flaccid faster in my entire life. Years ago I was seeing this girl. It was honestly an awful relationship. She was manipulative, married, and looking back she really did a number on my brain. But at the time, man, the sex was good. We did a lot of dom sub stuff, and things could often get really rough. One time I lifted her up to throw her onto the bed, like really toss her, and she bounces off the mattress and goes flying. I can still almost see the look of fear as she careens naked off into the corner. Totally kills the mood. I cannot stop laughing, apologizing, and seconds later the downstairs neighbors started knocking on the ceiling for us to shut up. It was hilarious. Messed around with my ex in the car, came on her, then realized we had no tissues to clean up. So she used her shirt and I gave her my hoodie. Under my hoodie I was wearing this ridiculous shirt that was 10 years old and 8 years too small. So I'm walking around looking like a gym douche. She's wearing my hoodie that people saw me walk out in holding a cum-stained shirt. Mind you, this is a Christian college, and everybody is asking us questions, LOL. Why not give her the small shirt and you wear the hoodie, LOL. I was at a house party and my friend and I went to the bedroom to fuck. So, we were having a good time and people just kept coming in. We're having sex and she would suddenly say, "Get out of here, Steve, you pervert." Not actual sex, but sexual, and involves the same girl. We were fooling around in her car after school and Sarge Marge banged on the window and took us to the principal's office. We are both sitting there kind of giggling because it was so absurd. We said we were just saying goodbye before going to our jobs. He said, "I've been watching you for 15 minutes. She said, "Did you learn anything?" I busted out laughing. I miss that girl. Enjoying the video? Leave a comment below. 3. One night I managed to take home my waitress after dinner. I had a few too many margaritas in me and wrote my number on the receipt, and it worked. We met at a bar after she got off. She gave me a Xanax, which I drunkenly took. Needless to say, I blacked out at that point. Next thing I remember, I've got her bent over in front of me and I'm eating her out from behind. I think what snapped me back to consciousness was the slow realization that there was something in my mouth. Not like a hair, but something solid. It was poop. I'd been getting little dingleberries in my mouth the whole time, and a combination of the texture and the flavor snapped me back to consciousness. Gross at the time, but hilarious looking back on it. That might put me off sex for life. Our accidental shititas anonymous. Why can't I view this sub? My username alone should qualify me. Me and this girl are hooking up and we're having fun. Her dog waltzes into the room, stares curiously, then starts licking my elbow. We both start laughing. Once, while drunk and high, I was fucking my girlfriend but suddenly decided to go pee. When I came back I forgot what we were doing. Booted up WoW and went on a raid. LOL, to this day I don't understand it. I remember coming back from the bathroom, booting up the PC, her asking WTF was I doing, me not giving a fuck and launching WoW while she angrily mumbled, "True gamer, I salute you brother." I'd already finished doggy. She reached back to keep stroking me and I accidentally pissed on her leg. Something about rubbing the glands unaroused. I can't control it. Making out with my GF lying down after sex. Clothes still on and I was bottom. Stuck my head out for a kiss. Felt weird. My eyes was open wide away and so was hers. Turns out I kissed her nose, with tongue. Had a good laugh. Sex time was over though. When I first tried doggy style, it was with my current boyfriend and I wasn't really into it. Never have been, so we decided to switch positions. As I got up I made the loudest queef and wasn't prepared and was super embarrassed as I wasn't very experienced with sex. My boyfriend was shocked and asked if I had shit myself, but we both started laughing when I told him what it really was. Not as funny as most, but hey, I love my boyfriend and I can't believe how comfortable I am with him. He makes me so happy. Farted during sex. Tried to play it cool and just keep going, but we both just started to laugh too hard for that. I was dating a guy long distance and told no one. None of their business until I decided it is their business. The first weekend, he drove up to spend time with me. I rented a remote cabin to keep everything my own damn business until I had established that this man I've been dating is now my boyfriend. Special note, he's 54 and I'm 49. Both twice divorced. But to be safe, I did tell my 23-year-old daughter where I was headed in case this guy was a psycho. Things clicked and we had a great time, and yes, he is now my boyfriend. On the last day, my daughter texted asking when I'd be home. I really didn't know, but she and I planned on getting together at 4:30 p.m. on a Sunday. I ended up getting back with my now boyfriend just before 3. Time for saying goodbye to brand new lover since he had a long drive back to get to work the next day. Well, WTH, we got 90 minutes. Let's go for another round in my apartment. So at about 3:30, I was riding him, and when he finished, he let out the loudest "Oh my god you fuck MESOOOO good," and immediately after, I heard, Mom from what sounded like inside my living room. But we were so impassioned, I couldn't be sure. He assured me, "Don't worry, sweetie, I hear people walking outside the window. It was probably just one of them." Made sense. So we went for the afterglow snuggle and just pressed our post-coitus bodies together and loved. And then I heard it again. This time it was way more clear. I shot straight up and said, "I'm 100% certain my daughter is in my living room." So imagine two middle-aged people in full panic to find all of our clothes. We achieved 99%. My underwear would be found later. Me straightening out sex hair. Strategizing that this is not the time for him to meet my oldest kid. He was just going to stay inside my bedroom as I tried to figure out why the F my kid used my spare key to come into my apartment a full hour early. I walked out and said, "Hey, you're here early," she said. "Yeah, I texted you, but, listen, this is already so awkward. I'm just gonna go. Like now, lay a patch on the pavement and get the fuck out of here. Have fun." I instantly felt like I was 17 and just got caught by my parents. When she stormed out, I looked down and saw that yes, the cell phone I left on the couch when one more round idea came over me, was on silent, left there as a meaningless, useless piece of shit, with a text and a call from my daughter saying, "I don't think you're home yet, so is it okay if I come over early to drop off some things?" Note to self, keep phone next to me and not on silent when I'm fucking my boyfriend, and don't keep a spare key outside under the plant. I instantly felt like I was 17 and just got caught by my parents. I don't think this is quite what they meant by role reversal, but if that's your kink. Yesterday I was getting freaky with my wife and in a change of position her foot got stuck and there was a really loud crack. She moaned in pain and we finished right away. She ended up with a sprained ankle and today she is limping a lot. The official story is that she tripped on a curb. Fuck it, I'll post it on my main. College GF and I decided it was a great time to have shower sex after a long night. We were going at it but I think we both realized in our naive young minds that it's overrated. Her roommate was coming back later in the night apparently, so we still kept going at it. The thing is, in a closed dorm room shower with no ventilation, where does all the oxygen go? Next thing I know my vision is going blurry. I see her starting to shake and know things are fucked. I tell her to breathe, rip open the shower curtains, and the next thing I know her eyes are rolling up into her head and she's fainting into the shower. I feel like I'm about to fall into a hole myself, and yell fuck while falling backwards into the tub, and X200B. Thing is, her roommate saved us. Thing is, her roommate was back the entire time. Thing is, her roommate ripped open the door to see us both naked and borderline seizing inside of a bathtub filled with regret. Her Jesus Christ is one that I hold dearly, as it also came with a blast of fresh air from the dorm room that I honestly think saved our lives. Nothing is worse than the shame shower curtain pull as we both realized what happened and what our roommate was staring in shock and fear at. Two drunk toddlers half fucking themselves to death inside of a bathtub while dying from oxygen deprivation. Champ left the dorm and told us to get some air. Token roommate TBH. When did dorm rooms become hermetically sealed? I'm no expert, but I feel like it's far more likely you overheated than you were oxygen deprived. I was hanging out with a guy I was messing around with. I'm gay, and we were watching a hockey game on TV. Nothing much was going on in the game, so I started to go down on him. While I was doing my thing, the commentators decided that it was a good time to have a long, detailed discussion about stick handling. I can't remember what they said exactly, just that it was loaded with phrases that would make every 8th grader hysterical. It took everything for me to not bust out laughing. It wasn't funny at the moment, but I now think it's funny that my sister has caught me sucking dick and also getting pounded 2 different times my luck. I tell you LOL. Being a virgin. My friend and his wife took a friend out to strip clubs for his 21st birthday. At the last club we were at, the GF of the owner, a former stripper, was the waitress. She had on a skirt and a V-neck top, spandex V-neck as in open to 4 inches past her navel. Between what we could see and what we could see the outline of, she had pierced nipples and a loop of gold chain connecting them. She was a D cup. After she left the table and everyone was still wide-eyed over this, I put on my best redneck voice and said near as I can figure, it's some sort of anti-sway device. My friend's wife was rolling on the floor laughing. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and hit the bell for more videos. Comment your views.